smell. Duh. Welcome back to another week of Cosas Buenas. I am so excited for this week's episode. This week and next week's episode, they go together. It's going to be a part 1, which you guys are about to watch, and then a part 2 next week. I interviewed the amazing Misty Lopez and Vivian Williams. They are two of the nicest, funniest, just sweetest people I have met in a very long time. And yeah, honestly, it was a blast. We talked for like a whole 2 hours. That's why it's episodes, just because a lot of the footage was just so good that like I didn't want y'all to miss out on it. If you are somebody who has had trouble with friendships, or you haven't had trouble with friendships, literally anybody I feel like can relate to at least something in this episode and the next one. So that's why I broke it down into 2 for y'all. So just like last week, I'm going to be advertising some companies that I chose throughout the video. I'm also going to be giving you some voting information, some places you can go to educate yourself on vote. I'm going to give you some resources to help with the Black Lives Matter movement, and I'm also going to give you some resources to help with what's going on in the ICE centers. I know that there's a lot of misconceptions about what's happening there, but that's not really what I want to focus on. I just want to make sure that we're doing what we can on our side to make sure we're all being taken care of in a humane way. So not here to talk about what's right, what's wrong, all of that. It's just about making sure that humans are getting treated like humans. If you have a business that you would like to advertise, somebody you know, maybe your own business, shoot me an email, let me know, shoot me a DM, however, let me know, and we can get you on here advertised as well. I did want to let y'all know that for the next couple of weeks after this Sunday, the episodes will still be posted every Sunday as usual, and I'm going to be posting some tutorials on Mondays as well. But instead of being able to find them on the Kickback Media, for a couple of weeks, you're going to have to go over to YouTube and watch them on there. So I'm still sticking to the schedule. We just started, and I didn't think it was cool to like start and just stop like that. But the site's going to be undergoing some maintenance. So if you try to go watch it on there, you're not going to catch it over there. But if you subscribe to my YouTube, you'll know as soon as it's live. Turn on your little notifications and all of that. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll be right back to where we started the kick. As y'all can see, I have my little snacks ready. I went to this little corn stand down the street from my house. I'm gonna have to find out the name so I can tell y'all. And I got my little corn, got my little Diet Coke, and I'm ready to sit back and watch this episode and laugh and enjoy myself, and hopefully y'all are. And yeah, that's about it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the episode. All right, hey guys, welcome to Cosas Buenas, and I'm so happy to have everybody here. Hopefully you're nice and comfy because we're about to talk it up. I have 2 beautiful ladies here. I have Misty and Vivian, and I'm going to let them say hello and kind of tell you a little bit about themselves before we get started. So whoever wants to go first, take it away.
I am Misty Lopez. I met Melly on a photo shoot. She's an amazing, talented makeup artist. And yeah, she just asked me to be a part of this, which I'm so excited. I cannot wait to get into all the things.
All these things.
Yes.
And my name is Vivian Williams. Hello. Hi, everybody. How are you doing? Me and Misty have been best friends for a very long time. And so we're excited to dive into all of that with you guys and really get in deep with what you need in a friendship and what you just need to let go.
I love the way she put that. I'm somebody who just kind of like watches people. I'm a big observer, and like Misty said, I met her at a photo shoot that she was a model for probably about a little over a year ago now. Of course, we started following each other, all of that, and I just kind of watched people, and over time I saw like, okay, this girl, 1, she's real, and like I couldn't tell that when I first met her, but 2, one thing that really stood out to me about Misty was that she has, it seems to, I'm pretty sure I'm right about this, but she seems to have a really solid just group of girls around her. I know a couple of them are her sisters, so it's like they just, they're automatically thrown in the mix, but that's definitely one thing I saw. She's very honest. You can tell that she says things with love, but she's honest. At the end of the day, she's not going to lie to you. And I was like, okay, I need to talk to this girl. Like, I need to get her and her bestie on, because side note, Vivian, I was a huge fan of on DCC, if you recognize her. Back in the day, like I was a faithful watcher, and I was like gunning for her every season, and like if she was crying, I was crying. If she was laughing, I was laughing, and I just let you, like, you were one of the few people that I had seen just even like look like just Latina, like just that I could relate to, and I thought that was such a cool spot for you to be in. That tends to be like kind of a cookie cutter place, and you were somebody who really stood out, and your character showed, and you were somebody I looked up to. Like, I think I was a younger teenager at the time, so this has just all come full circle in such a really cool way. I'm like, I'm getting a little emotional.
My heart!
It's just like, man.
We gotta save the crying for the end. We can't start off crying.
I know.
And what's what's trippy is that when I met Misty, I had no idea they knew each other. And I followed Vivian like on and off, just kind of kept up with her because I just loved her energy. I was like, she's cute, like she's sparkly, like she's just bubbly, like I like this girl. And then when Misty started posting stuff with y'all together, I was like, hold up.
hold up.
Yes, I was like, hold on. Yeah, we're just going to get right into it. I want to start off talking about what friendship means to the both of y'all. I was telling Vivian right now before we started filming just how, for some reason, the definition of friendship is just not consistent across like humanity, like people, period. What you may think is friendship, somebody else might not. And I don't think that's okay. I think people have kind of taken the definition, like to make it and cater it to themselves these days. And, not all the times that we're talking about what we think is a friend, do we actually have somebody who's a friend?
To me, friendship is loyalty, someone that's there through the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, obviously, it's so easy to have friends when they're celebrating you and life is good, but like, you know who your real friends are when life isn't good and you haven't said anything and they just check up on you. So to me, like, friendship is communication, it is loyalty, and it is understanding because everybody's different. You don't owe anybody a friendship. To me, a friendship is a blessing. At the end of the day, it really is. Like, you get to choose who you want to be in your life, and it's a choice.
That's so good, Misty. I completely agree with you on all aspects of that. And I think that when you choose your friends, you're essentially choosing your family. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be careful with their intention because a lot of people can like your pretty face, can like your good side, but you need those ride or dies that you can call up in the middle of the night and be like, I know it's 2 a.m. and I know you're half asleep, but please just let me vent because my heart is like bleeding and there's nobody else that can help me stitch up these wounds except for you. And I think that true friendship, it's really hard for me to have real friends. Just so that y'all know, I do not have a lot of close friends in my circle. I may seem like super extroverted and like, sparkle, sunshine. I'm very isolated. I don't open up about my really intimate, deepest details and secrets because those are precious to me and I want to keep those as like treasures. And so the people that I do allow in, I have to trust with my whole heart. And Misty, I've known since middle school, and we have built a friendship of trust and loyalty because I think her sisters have really taught each other like what sisterhood is, and her whole family is just very like, no, we're a unit, we stick together.
One of us to get all of us, okay?
Kind of like the Kardashians do, you know what I'm saying? Like they might like and complain about each other in front of each other or behind each other's backs, but at the end of the day it's like they love each other and they're there for each other and they're working together to build each other up. What do you think it is?
Oh my god, I could ask a question. Honestly, I've kind of redefined what I thought friendship was over time. I used to think that friendship was just kind of like hanging out and like the fun stuff and just being included in things, being somebody that other people will call like just if they need. And I didn't really look for that in other people at all. I would be the one like, oh yeah, I got you. Like I'm here, I have your back, whatever you need. But the same standards that I held for myself as a friend, I didn't hold for people that I thought were my friends. So going through just a lot of different, I always say I don't have good luck with friends. Like, and it's not because I don't want to admit like my wrongs and things. It's just, I don't know. I've just always been a nice person and I had to learn how to stand up for myself over time. So that's another story. But I think because of all that, just that I can really just vouch off what both of y'all are saying. Communication and honesty really speaks a lot to me about a person. And when I see that that's in their character, then over time that makes me want to be their friend. And just loyalty in the good, the bad, the ugly. You want your friends to let you know when you're wrong, right? But it doesn't always have to be like in front of the whole room. Like you want to feel like they have your back, but like also keep it real with me too. So like that has been my biggest thing. If I feel like I can't be honest with a friend or like I'm not getting that from them, you'll notice like I'll just kind of distance myself. So yeah, that's my definition of a friend: honesty, loyalty, communication. Like
it's kind of like picking out like a boyfriend or something. Like you think you know them, but then you get into the friendship and you're like, whoa, this is not who I signed up for. And that's another reason why I'm very selective with like my friends, is because I just don't, I like my personal in my soul is so precious to me, and I like to keep that like secure. And my real friendships, like, they help me heal my soul when I'm broken, when I'm lost, and stuff like that. And so, even when you're being honest and truthful, you need to understand that, okay, if I trusted this person enough to help me repair my soul when I'm bleeding out, then I need to tell them the truth in the most loving, respectful, kind, generous, giving, selfless way that I possibly can, even if I'm pissed off. Even if it hurts my feelings, even if it's like a little embarrassing for me, because when respect is lost, then that's where all of it starts happening. That's where you
Yeah, that's one thing, like, about, I think, me and Vivian's relationship is, like, we are honest with each other. Like, and Viv's taught me, because I grew up in a family full of women, so, like, you know, you're gonna have a different dynamic with your sisters than you are, like, a friend or whatever, but I've always just been, like, blunt, like, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You can look at it from this way, that way, whatever. It is what it is, right? So I was just big on, like, if there's an issue, like, okay, let's point it out right then and there. You know what I mean? Like, this is the problem. Yeah. But maybe not so nicely, and not necessarily with Vivian, but just in general. Because we lived together in college. Also, there was 4 of us that
fun.
In, like, the same unit.
I feel like there's stories there. Like,
so many stories.
I bet.
We were called the quad
today. But
never say that for another day.
PGD.
But throughout that time, like, we have never disrespected each other. You know what I mean? And it's like, there's always been that line of, like, mutual respect. And even if we don't necessarily agree on something, we know how to talk to each other. We've developed a dynamic that I can be completely honest with you. You can be completely honest with me. If we're venting, it's like, all right, are you venting for advice? Or are you venting for an ear? Because those are 2 completely different things.
That's a great question to ask. Yes, because I feel like sometimes when people are venting and you don't ask, you might give them the wrong response, and then things get real messy. I had to learn that the hard way. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
But it really is just, like, learning each other. You know what I mean? And, like, we have, like, over 10 years of friendship since middle school. Like, we've changed so much since middle school.
Oh, yeah.
So much.
And
so much.
For the good, for the better.
I know, like, thank you, Jesus. Like, thank God for the
But
glow
she's like, she's taught me how to, like, maybe say something maybe with more love than I would normally have said it. So I think, like, our friendship has helped me in other friendships as well, you know, to where maybe I can say things, like, nicer and not hurt. Because not everybody has, like, thick skin like I do, or, you know, is going to take things the way that you mean them. Because she's taught me how to say it with love instead of just being like,
what's the matter with you?
It's that.
The love, because it used to be just truth, no love. But,
and so I want to ask a question about that. So when she first kind of started coming to you, like, hey girl, you might want to soften up a little bit, like, just because it's true, it doesn't mean you can just say it bluntly like that to everybody. Was it hard for you to receive that? Did you understand what she was saying, or was it just the way she presented it to you that really made you listen to her?
I think we lived with, you know, 2 other girls, and if there was an issue, the way that we would address the issue is very different. And I'm just like, I don't understand why this is not being understood. And she's like, well, maybe I would hear the way I would say it, and then I would hear the way that she would address the issue. And they were more open to, like, going to her about the issue than it was, like, I guess, to me, because it was like, one, probably don't want to piss me off, and two, and I never want to give off that energy where like I can't be corrected. You know what I mean?
No, I understand. I understand.
So I think just kind of maybe when you address a problem, being like, hey, you know, this hurt my feelings, or we're kind of off right now, like, or what's wrong with us? Because me and Viv have had an issue where we traveled together. We got back and we were like,
Wait,
why are we bickering?
Like, hold up, what's the real issue here?
Yeah, like why are we like this? Like, we're never like this.
Yeah.
We're not those type of friends. You know what I mean? And it just, we talked about it and we ended up laughing and, you know, got over it. But to be able to address the issue, like, I know they say this in relationships, but it's like, it's not you versus you. It's like y'all versus the problem. You know what I mean? That, like, you got to use that same mentality in friendships. And I always joke, because I've been single forever. So I'm like, I think God made me a good friend, because I ain't a girlfriend. So I think he just made me a friend.
Hey, God's preparing you to be a wife by being like a great friend. I bet you. He's just saving you for, you know, the actual one. Like, you're that special girl. Like, he can't even let you play around with the rest. Like,
But yeah, for me, I just take friendship so seriously. Like, it's a serious thing. You are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with. What do you want to be? Who do you want to be? What do you want that to look like? You know?
Going back to what you were saying, Misty taught me something too, because I was just like sugarcane. I was just a pushover. Everyone would walk all over me all day is long, and I would just be like, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's okay.
I would be mad for her. I'm like, girl, like, what?
Like, what are you doing?
And I think people don't realize how sweet I am, because I love to such a high degree. I just love everyone instantly, and I always have the best interest for them. So my perspective has changed over time, because I used to think that everyone has the best intentions for me. They are going to treat me how I treat them. So the more I love them, the more they're going to love me. And that was wrong. And so Misty has taught me to, like, you know, have more of a back. I have a lot of sass and charisma and flavor, but sometimes I was scared to show that, you know?
That's me. No, I understand that. Yeah. I'm like, I get you. I'm like, yes, preach.
And so when I think we just helped each other in such different ways that was required, you know? Like, if we didn't have each other in our lives, I would be a little less, you know, truthful or open about my feelings. I'd be getting my feelings hurt, and she would be a little bit more abrasive. You know what I'm saying? So we helped each other sweeten and harden at the same time.
So y'all kind of balance each other out then, because not that what you lack, but the things that maybe you needed just some help in, you know, she was able to help you with, and vice versa. I think I can definitely relate to you, Vivian, just as far as like sugarcoating things. And I don't know about you, Misty, I feel like you can't relate to this at all. Tell me if I'm wrong. But like, when you have to like confront somebody, or like you just have to say something that might even make them a tiny bit uncomfortable, like, I get the worst anxiety. I like think about it all night. Like, I will psych myself out. And I actually, it's a bad habit that I need to get out of, because like I'm grown now, but I prefer to like write letters or something, because I feel like on paper I can like write it out.
Oh my God.
I've had to learn, like, because on my end I'm like, okay, like I feel like I'm writing you a letter, like I'm taking my feelings, putting them on paper so you can really understand. It wasn't till, it was actually like 2 or 3 weeks ago, my best friend, she just kind of, things were a little weird. She's pregnant right now, she's hormonal, through a lot of stuff, so things are just weird kind of on both ends. And I was like penting it up, and when she would like hit me up, I was like, well, if I'm just a little shorter with her, like she'll get the hint, like, or whatever. And this is my best friend, like, looking at and I just like say it. And my thing is, like, I felt like, okay, I've really grown, I can like be honest now, because before I wouldn't even say how I felt. And that situation showed me, like, no, girl, like, you have some work to do. So I wait like 2-3 weeks, let all this kind of stuff build up, right? This is on top of me getting in a car accident, like just all kinds of stuff is happening. And at the end of the day, I don't really know like what exactly I was feeling some type of way about. I think I just wanted a little bit of attention, but I didn't know how to like ask her for it and be like, bro, I need you, like, hello, like check on me, like. I need you right now. And so I sent her like this long text message, and I was just like, hey girl, like this is how I'm feeling. Like I feel like I need to just be honest with you, whatever. And when she first responded, she was like real defensive, because she was like, you should have called me. Like, why are you not telling me this in person? And my thought, like my justification behind it was like, you're hella hormonal right now. I'm me right now. Like, I don't want to talk to you about this and like it turn into something big because like I love you. Like, you're like my best friend. Like, I don't want to lose you or whatever. But on her end, she was like offended that I didn't even like talk to her in person. She's like, really, you're gonna send me a long text about this? Like, that's how you feel or whatever?
Don't do that. Okay.
Yeah.
And like, and it was like, so we talked and all of that, and I felt like when she first responded, I was like, dang, like it's over, like that's it, like we're just not gonna be friends anymore. So we talked it out and like we were good, and at the end of the conversation she was like, dude, like I love you, like I just forget to check on you because like you just seem so strong sometimes, like I think you're good. She was like, you also like you have to remember like I don't know everything. And I was like, I have to remember that about you too. Like we tell each other so much that like we just assume we know what's going on with each other, and like we don't always know the full extent. Looking back, I was like, I really should have like talked to her. And after it all got resolved and all of that, I was like, dang, like she's like really a friend. Like she's really a friend. Like I was being a little extra and needy and whatever, and I didn't know how to say it, and like she's still there like telling me she loves me. So I feel like we can kind of relate to y'all too in that sense. And I've just realized you have to get uncomfortable sometimes in those true friendships. So I don't know, has there been like any uncomfortable situations with y'all two that ended up being a learning experience?
Okay, so I get what all of it you have to say, but that's in relationships, period. But there's going to be miscommunication in every single relationship. One part because you aren't that person and they have an entire different life. Just like you were saying, you may think that you know this person, but you only know some of the glimpses that you spent together. And you have to understand that they're a whole ass human being. You know what I'm saying? They're going through a lot of emotions, a lot of stress, a lot of different variables, different relationships outside of your own. And so I think that when you try not to take things personally and just know in your heart that this is really a genuine friendship. Because I've been in places where I thought that it was a genuine friendship when it was like a frenemy situation where they were acting like they had my best interest every step of the way, lying to me, and my loving heart, you know, I just love people and I want to think the best out of them, so I give them the benefit of the doubt. So I have been ripped to shreds by like friendships and just taken advantage of and all of these things. But when you really choose the right people in your friend zone, when you're like, okay, maybe she's not perfect, but I'm not perfect either. Is this a person that I want to be a part of my entire life? If not, then don't put them in that circle. Keep them in the outer circle, right? It's like sisters, like Misty, like how you're sisters. Y'all are so close. And no matter how much you talk or how much you don't talk, it's still the same.
Yeah. I think like for me, I learned at a very young age because I was very like, at the end of the day, I do have a big heart and I do, you know, see the best in everybody, and everybody makes mistakes. I realized that too. And I think I was maybe a little too forgiving when I was young. Even this stems down to even like elementary school. You know what I mean? Like, and my mom is very like, she ain't your friend. In elementary school, like, you know, I seem, but
my
really,
friends would do that, and I'm like, huh? What do you mean?
Yeah, and you don't know any better, right? You just want this person to be your friend. And my mom just instilled in us since we were little, like, and I would really like get my heart broken so much because I would have friends and I'd find out they were like talking about me or like saying these mean things, and I'm like,
that really shakes you as a kid. You're like,
yeah, like what? It really is just like heartbreaking. And but I think I had to go through that at such a young age to realize, like, at a young age as well, like, if I want somebody to be my friend, like, to me, it's a privilege and it's an honor to be my friend because I know I'm a damn good friend. You know what I mean? I'm not going to give that, like, if I get, you know, I'm going to be a good person at the end of the day, right? But sometimes I'm going to have to love you from a distance, and that is perfectly okay. We can be acquaintances, but to be a friend, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's
showing up when it's not easy. That's showing up when it's inconvenient. That's being there.
When you're at like your lowest, you know what I mean? When there's a death in the family, when there's, you know what I'm saying? Or just on a regular Wednesday night, like, hey girl, haven't heard from you. Are you good? Yeah. Just like little things like that go so far. They just go a long way. And to be able to identify, like, being a friend is a choice. Like, either you're going to be good to me and I'm going to be good to you, and then we're going to be good. or you're gonna like talk behind my back. And there's a difference too, because if there's an issue and you tell that person like, hey, you know, maybe like this is what happened, or maybe you hurt my feelings when you did that. You have to be willing as a person who hurt the other person to say, I'm so sorry. Like those are not my intentions, you know, or what was heard and told to you was not what I said. It was something else. You know what I mean? Because at the same time, when you're a good friend to somebody, other people get jealous of that. So they try to manipulate, you know what I'm saying? So that goes back to knowing who your friends are.
And I want to touch on something that both of y'all said. You guys both kind of mentioned, like, okay, you have your friends that are going to be in your inner circle, and, you know, like, those are your ride or dies. And then there's people that, you know, they're kind of on the outside, and it's not necessarily that, like, they're just horrible people, but it's not there, like, whatever the reason may be. And that takes me to kind of the trend of, like, cutting people off. I don't know if y'all have gone through these phases. I went through a phase, and it was, like, a little extreme, and I really cut, like, everybody off. And, like, there was reasons behind it and stuff. Like, there was a lot behind it, but I just felt like at the time, like, oh yeah, I gotta cut people off. I gotta cut them off. Like, nope, you bothered me today. Nope, I'm cutting you off. Whatever. And it's just like not realistic, because like you said, like, people are gonna make mistakes. Like, we aren't perfect, but you have to realize, okay, like you said, yes, we can be real friends. We're probably going to be acquaintances. And I think that's something that people need to know. Like, it's okay. Like, it's okay to not, like, be rude to somebody that you just don't want to be friends with. It's okay not to, like, ghost them. Like, you can actually just kind of distance yourself, like, still be nice. You don't have to be rude. But I don't think cutting off is necessarily, like, realistic. I feel like life doesn't work like that. Like, you can't just cut off a job all the time you don't like. Like, sometimes you just have to deal with it so you can find another one. And, yeah, so I just want to hear y'all's take on that. How do you handle when you come across somebody who, you know, maybe it's kind of going well, and then you're like, red flag. I don't think I want you in my inner circle.
Me being the type of person that I am a very loyal and committed person. Like, if you say that you're my best friend, oh, okay, we're best friends now. And that's how I was when I was a very young girl. And that's because I was just very shy. I didn't have a lot of friends. I was bullied as a kid. And it's just because I was too sweet. And I was very, like, kind of scared of the world, because the world has always been so mean to me when I was that age, because I was too loving. I was like, I was just like a little piece of sugar walking around town. And I made friendships with people who would take advantage of me. And then I associate that with, okay, well, this is just what friendship is. And I think that when you're young, you don't understand that is toxic. That is not a good relationship. That is not something that you need to be in. And so you have to actually go through the experience of the friendship. And in life, you're going to go through all of these different relationships to understand what is right and what is wrong. But there's an internal voice that speaks to you all the time. And I have a very loud intuition that I have suppressed over the years, because I wanted to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. But
you wanted them to prove you wrong almost.
Yeah, because I believe that everyone has goodness in them, and that sometimes they were just in certain situations that make them, you know, sad and mad and angry and act the way that they do. I'm not validating those actions. Like, they need to learn how to, you know, grow up and figure shit out. But I think that when you start hearing that internal voice being like, I don't think this is what friendship is supposed to feel like. And like you, I've been a writer my entire life. So anytime I have a breakup, I write them a letter.
My journal is filled. I have journals for days, girl.
Me too. And so anytime that I've had to cut off a friendship, I have had to write them a letter or go into detail of communicating why this is no longer good. And so for those of you who are out there who are listening, who are like maybe in a friendship that you're like, this is so draining and toxic for me, maybe write it out before you talk to them. You don't have to write them the letter and give it to them, but just putting your thoughts on paper is so helpful, because you can see it, you can review it, you can edit it, you can go back and be like, okay, this is the package that I want to give to this person so they can understand me fully. friendship is communication.
Had a situation where in my adult life, I befriended someone, and I'm very open to new friends. I'm not no new friends. I've never been that. You know what I mean? And actually, I think it like as I've gotten older, I've realized like the importance of your circle, because I used to just be like, okay, like I was always that person with just a ton of friends, right?
Quantity, not quality. Yes.
Yes. But I always had like, my few that I knew
Right.
were, but I just literally was so quick to call everybody my friend, And I think a part of that is because I try to be so inclusive, and growing up in a household of all women, like my mom just raised us like one or all, you don't do for one if you're not gonna do for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
So, but as an adult, I, befriended someone, and I don't know, it was sweetest person, just a sweet person. But there was always something, and girl, my intuition, the thing is like, I befriended this person, got really close with them, and like, we would talk like every day, like just really, really cool. But there was just always something that I was like, I feel like something is not right, but we never got into it. We never had no like, I don't know. But then there would be like little moments where like shade was thrown, and I'm like, I don't know about you, but I won't do that.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you throw shade, I throw punches. Like, we don't do that.
Like me, I'm like all passive aggressive. I'll just make a comment back.
No, but like it is what it is,
Right,
and so I'm not gonna have that in my friendships. I'm really not. Like, if you're gonna be my friend, you're gonna be my friend. So I was like, I don't know, she's really done nothing wrong, but I'm too old to be playing these games. Like, are you gonna be throwing shade at me, or are you genuinely complimenting, or are you know what I'm saying? So, and I prayed about it a lot, and there was just like different things, and I'm like, I don't know. And then I brought this person around my group, my solid group, and I knew, my friend group is so solid. They're gonna be like, no, Misty. And that was basically they were like, and it was, and I don't want to say that to where it sounds like cliquey, like, oh, she can't be, because it wasn't like that. Like, if you're feeling a certain type of way, and you prayed about it, and then you bring them around your friends, and they're like, there's something off, I don't know, then okay, like that's 3 validations, you know what I'm saying? That, all right, maybe, but we never ended badly, we are still cordial, it is what it is, but I just kind of distanced myself, and we just distanced from each other, and it's fine, like, it is what it is, it's cool. I'd say you're more of an acquaintance. If I saw you out, it's no bad blood, because at the end of the day, you don't have to burn every bridge. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna burn a bridge, burn it like hell. But if you don't know, like,
right, like,
real, because then there's no going back. Right. So if you just leave it, and my thing is like, I always, no matter what I do, I always try to go with grace. At the end of the day, no matter what that may look like. So just, I can love you from a distance. We could be cool from a distance. If I see you out, hey, what's up? But you don't have to have blood with everybody, and you don't have to be best friends with everybody either.
No, exactly. And I love how you said, like, if you are going to burn a bridge, like, make sure it's completely done. Because I feel like sometimes I've been in situations where I can tell that, like, people are trying to distance themselves, or, like, just something's up or whatever. And, like, if it's not a situation where I can think of anything I've done, I'm like, what's going on? Then later on, it's like they kind of come back, try to be nice. And it's just always kind of, like, leaves me questioning, like, okay, like, so what's, like, was something up? Was I tripping? Like, hold up. And I feel like that's a situation that can kind of cause animosity over time. But then also too, sometimes if you actually do need to maybe completely cut somebody off, like they're just a toxic friend or person or however, I feel like our feelings tend to get involved. And when we're actually like in the action of cutting them off or whatever, it's like, wait, like, I don't know if I want to do this. And then you maybe like kind of backtrack a little bit and don't actually cut them off, or don't say what you meant to say or whatever. And in the end, you just kind of end up back in square one. So I love that you mentioned, like, okay, if you're going to do this, like, be sure about it and like follow all the way through. Because I've also met a lot of people who like will tell me, oh no, like, we're not cool, whatever. But the other person's like, yeah, that's my friend. And I'm like, I'm confused. Like,
Yeah.
I love that you mentioned that, because there is sometimes where, there's toxic people. Like, not everybody is even like valid to be an acquaintance. Like, there's some people it's just like, nah, I can't. Like,
and that's perfectly okay. Like, you don't have to be friends with everybody.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's okay to have people that you're just like, oh, hello, and cordial with. It's okay to have, people that are you're going out friends and that's basically all it is, you know. But at the same time, side note, make sure you trust those people, because if you are going to go out and
Be safe.
do whatever, like, you got to go out with people that are trustworthy. So I see people that all the time that invite me to hang out, and they turn up and they look like they have a good time. But I'm like, would I trust you if I was not in control of my body at the time? Or, you know what I mean? If I got a little too tipsy or whatever, you know, like, could I trust you to be good? If I don't know that, if I don't feel 100%, like, probably not. Like, I'm a pass, you know, and that's okay. Like, I'll catch you at dinner, you know, like, let me take you to dinner, or let me, you know, do this or do that, you know, and it's okay. Like,
and
there's no rules.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, sorry. I was gonna say there's no rules to friendships, but you know in your heart when something's right and when something's not.
Exactly.
Yes.
And Mel, are you single right now?
It's complicated, but yeah, basically.
I'm a newly single girl, so I've been dating.
Me too. That's complicated. I'm like, I don't know what this is right now. I don't want to own it yet.
You own that, girl. You own it. Right now, I'm dating, and I'm trying to go about dating in the most classy, respectable, and healthy way possible. And I think that a lot of people don't know how to go about that. But I think that when you take those rules that I've been implementing in dating into friendships and have those boundaries and date for your friends, like, don't just because somebody's fun and cute and gets along with them doesn't mean that you're gonna let's get married, you know, just one day.
Definitely.
And you need to court your friendships. You need to take the time to get to know each other, to understand who that person is, what that person really, their intentions. If their intentions for you are malice, or if you get any vibes, this is going back to what we've all been saying, the intuition, that voice is in you for a reason. We all resonate on different vibrations, and we emanate different vibes all throughout the day, depending on our mood, depending on our emotions, depending on our circumstances and our interactions with people. More people are more sensitive to other people's, and more people are dominant to other people's. So I'm a sensitive, so I pick up people's energy very easily. Misty's more dominant. She's gonna give people more energy. I'm in the middle, to where I'm I can light up a room, but then all of a sudden, if somebody is gonna take away my light, I can dim down real dark. I think that when you choose your people, you need to listen to that voice so intently, set your boundaries, respect yourself, and if there's any disrespect that is ever shown, any red flag, it needs to be discussed and taken care of immediately when it happens, in the most loving and respectful way. Because if disrespect ever creeps in,
it's hard to get back.
Yeah.
But would you agree that maybe there are different friends, for different seasons, or different friends even for different situations?
I completely agree with that. I don't have close friends. I have maybe less than what I can count on my hand. Misty is one of them. Misty is the main one.
She's number one.
She's number one. She's get it straight.
Yes. Claim your spot. I cannot.
So when I get into relationships, that guy usually becomes my other best friend. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because best friendships are real friendships. They are you are going to be honest and open with every part of your being with this person, and they can love you and accept you. If they can't love you and accept you for who you are with all your flaws, then they are not your best friend. I think when you need to understand who you are as a person, first and foremost, and what you need out of a friendship. Not what you can get, not what people can offer you, what you need. And if you don't have any friends and you just have to be me, myself, and I for a while, be me, myself, and I for a while. And be your own best friend, because then
you will learn in that time who your friends are. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, you know, my church friends, I have my small group, I have my Send Help girls who are like, we've probably all known each other for like over 10 years. They're like my core, you know, like, you know, I have my friends that I can go work out with, or, you know, that just like I want to go grab coffee with, or just want to go to the movies with, or like, let's go eat. Like, you know,
exactly. Like, forget this diet. I'm hungry.
You know, just different. And that's okay. Like, I feel like God gives you different people for different purposes, and that's okay, you know? So, but you also have to be, that friend that can be there for those other people too. I've been trying to see like how I could be a better friend. And I was telling one of my friends that, and she's like, are you crazy? Like, Misty, you're like a really good friend, which I'm like, thank you. Like, I appreciate that. But like, also like, I just, for me, working on myself, like how can I be a better friend to those, you know, around me? Like, do I need to help you, like, come do dishes, or like come watch your kid for a couple hours while you sleep extra? You know what I mean? Just like little things like that, that maybe like you don't have siblings or something that you can count on. Friends should be able to like do all of those things and be there for you. So I know it seems like a lot of expectation of somebody else, but I think like for me, if I'm willing to do that for them, like, and over and over and over again, then I know at the end of the day, you know, I've had friends where I'm like, you know, would do something, and they're like, you're so nice, like, thank you, whatever. And I'm like, girl, you do it for me. Like, and they have done it for me. That's why I'm so willing, you know, but you also have to be careful of those people that is just like, what can you do for me, or what can you offer me, you know?
Yes.
The takers.
No, I completely can relate with that. And I'm sure Vivian, I'm sure everybody like can relate with that. You probably in a different sense, because, you know, you were on TV and stuff. So I'm sure that probably brought you a whole different crowd of, you know, wannabe friends. But I definitely no, exactly. And I feel like sometimes you don't want to admit that to yourself, because it's like, I don't know, like, I have high self-confidence, but I also try to like keep myself humble. Like, okay, girl, like sit down, like relax, like you're feeling yourself today. And sometimes you kind of question yourself, like, wait, like, I think they just want me for this or for that. Like, I have a whole bunch of people, like, to this day, like, don't really talk to them much, whatever, but they'll hit me up, like, or comment on something like, you need to do my makeup. Like, oh, I do? Like, or just different things like that. Or like, they'll be talking to me more than usual, and I'm like, okay, cool, like, all right. And I always kind of get a feeling, and then sure enough, they end up asking, like, or, hey, like, can you do my makeup on this date? Like, can you do this for me on that date? Like, or it might be teaching, I don't know, a bunch of random stuff. So I feel like it's important to know yourself enough to be like, okay, yes, I'm that girl, and be able to recognize, like, okay, I don't think this person, like, it's okay to be like, I think this person wants something else from me. And if you're just somebody who tries to stay humble, you don't really think that a lot of times. You try to like believe the best, but sometimes you have to keep it real with yourself and be like, okay, like, as much as I want to see the good in this person, are they going to be there when they need something?
So going to what you're saying.
Yes, go ahead.
I classify those friends to be pyramid scheme friends. You know, when somebody gets a part of like a pyramid scheme, and the only reason they reach out to you is so they can join their tree, you know, so they can get more money.
They have somebody on hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you genuinely want to be in somebody's life, then you're going to make the effort to do so. And there's also people who just get caught up and busy as hell and have a lot of shit going on. I'm at fault for doing that. And I'll reach out to somebody who I hadn't talked to in a long time, but I like see them doing their thing when I haven't been seeing them doing their thing, because the algorithm's all messed up and I got too many damn friends on social media.
Girl, this algorithm has like, I'm not cool with it. Like, when I'm rich enough, I'm buying Instagram, and like, we're just gonna change it back because it's not cool.
Because it's not cool. Because I've had friends to be like, getting offended because I didn't like some of the things that they've posted or something like that. And I'm like, dude, I haven't seen any of your stuff. I'm so sorry. But that wasn't my intent to be like, scroll past. I ain't giving you no likes today. That's not a friend.
You know what I'm saying? A little bit harder for this heart.
Yes. Or when you see somebody succeeding and being like, ooh, I want to hop on that train. That's a pyramid scheme friend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a difference between the two. Somebody who's grinding, who's working hard, who's trying to improve themselves and all the people around them, or somebody who's focused intently on just their accomplishments and what other people can bring to them.
And I just want to say real quick, if you have a friend or whatever, like if, you know, somebody's doing their thing, your real friends aren't even going to ask, like they won't ask for a discount. Like your real friends are going to be like, even if you try to be like, no, I got you, like, here, let me just do it. They're still going to like force, you know, their money into your Cash App or like however, like slip some dollars in your purse. Like that's one thing I've definitely learned over time. Like I've had people just even kind of show their colors. Just something as like, I'm not a pop-in makeup artist. Like I do it here and there. But even in that, I'm
yes,
like,
you are, girl. You did mine. I was slaying.
Thank you. So I'm hard on myself. Like, thank you. No, I am. I'm good. I'm decent. But like, even just in that, like in those kinds of conversations, people have like really shown me, like people that I weren't expecting to be like, no, here, like I'm paying you, like this is your business.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, like yeah, you're right, this is my business. And then you have other people who like, you're just like, wait, so are you gonna like act, like, so I think I need to tell you my prices because you're not asking here, like or whatever. And so I just want to mention that, like, if y'all have any kind of side hustle, whatever, like cut people discounts if you want, you know, like do you, it's your business.
I think
but your real friends are gonna like want to pay you, like they really
and
are.
they'll share your stuff like that.
Yes.
It's free to support somebody. Like it's literally free, you know? And like for me, I know influencer, but if I know like people are, you know, working hard, starting something, you know, I'm gonna share it. Like literally, I'm just gonna share it. Like, you know, even if I seen you in like 5 years or whatever, if I see you starting something new and I believe in it, then I'm gonna share it, you know?
And I think a lot of people,
if I don't, then I'm just kidding.
I think a lot of people don't understand that too. From like transitioning from like being broke as a college student and like having to juggle so many things, and then like getting discounts and being excited for it and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then transitioning into the real world where it's like you need to uplift your friends and give back so you can, other people can pour into you, you know, pour into others. Because I think nobody really takes the time to like sit down and talk to them about that, especially if it based on their circumstance, based on their environment, based on their what they've been told, how people have treated them in the past. So don't take it personally if somebody comes at you like that, but more so be like, okay, listen to that intuition. Be like, does that person know better? And if not,
that's a great question.
Yeah.
Because not everybody has common sense, girl. Common sense is not common, and
exactly.
not everybody realizes that. It's very easy to take things personal when you don't realize, like, oh, they just don't know. Like, they just don't know. Not everybody knows. Like,
exactly.
So I like that you said that.
And there's a good balance of like putting yourself in somebody else's position and then standing up for yourself. And I think that that's what me and Misty's friendship has really helped us in deciphering the both, you know what I mean? So you need to get friends who compliment you, who maybe not are the same as you, but make you better essentially at the end of the day. And what the best for you. Yeah.
I think share like morals is a big one too, because it's like you can't teach somebody to be a good person. They gotta want to be a good person, you know? And if maybe you're acting out of character, again, your circle is a reflection of you, you know? So it's like if you're acting out of character, you should have those people around you that are like, you good? Like you seem kind of off. What's going on? You know what I mean?
Like, what's up with you? I'm gone.
Yeah, or like talking about you behind your back or whatever. It's just like something's not right. Like, is everything okay? If not, you know, I'm here for you. If it, let me know when you're ready. I'm here. You know, and sometimes like with Vivian, even though we are best friends and we are so close, like I have to tell her like, girl, let me be your best friend. Like, tell me what's wrong. You know,
you like
she's
put walls up.
It's so
You're
true.
like I'm good.
She doesn't want to like bother with it or whatever. But I'm like, you're my best friend. I'm coming to you with all it. So like, you know what I mean? Like, let me be
yours, girl. Like, yeah.
And so, and then, you know, we talked about it, we could, you know, and then I just, you know, try to encourage her or whatever, like she does for me. So it's just like being somebody to return the favor, because like we are best friends. We get into the wheels fall off. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, let's roll. How can we improve? How can we live our best lives? You know what I mean? And like wherever you're lacking, maybe it's something that I've been through that I didn't share that, you know, I could help you with, or vice versa, you know?
I think it's so important that you just said, you guys, both of you kind of mentioned in different ways, like you make each other better, and it's important to have people around you who make each other better. A saying that I love is like, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. Like, you don't want to be, because then like, what can you learn? You can't at all, right? Like, you're just, and even if you think you're the smartest person in the room, you really can't learn anything because you have that block on your brain. Like, no, I got this. Like, I know.
And everybody's got different smarts. You got street smarts, you got book smarts. You know what I'm saying? Like, just be open to learning from other people, you know, and just being enlightened.
No, exactly. And I feel important because there's a lot of people, I feel like this is also a trend where it's just like, I got me, I got my back. Like, if nobody else does, like, I got me, right? And it's like, you tend to get like real independent and just real kind of almost cocky in the sense that you don't need friends. And I was actually talking to somebody about this because it's even like when you're in a relationship, when you're with that person 24/7, it's not healthy, like at all. And you may not see it when you're in it because you're enjoying it, and you may not even see it when things get bad, that like you all just need some space or whatever. But it's just not healthy to be, you know, like 24/7 like